Hello once again. Welcome back to another keyboard video. This time I'm going to be doing something way more expensive than I've done ever before, especially on the channel and in my entire hobby of keyboarding, which is, I guess, I'm pretty new to still. But regardless, I wanted to make what I think is going to be my end game, and by end game I mean long term, hopefully. So this is the KBDFans D84. It actually used the KBDFans D75 hot swap PCB, as you see here. It's a gasket mounted 75% keyboard with no spacing. I got it with the polycarb plate for the extra thock. And of course, the actual case, which is a nice, pretty E-white, which was a little more expensive, but I really wanted the E-white just because if I'm going big, might as well go big. You know what I mean? The only real complaint that I have so far is that it doesn't have some sort of daughter board system. So the actual PCB basically has to like seat itself into that USB hole, which does take away from the flex of the top left corner, and also it messes with the directionality of the switches. But other than that, it's really good, as we will see. Also, excuse the mess, the box was dirty. As for the other stuff that comes with this keyboard, it has plate foam, case foam. Well, it also has plate foam, but that was the case foam that I was looking at. This is the plate foam that goes between the PCB and the plate. And then it comes with a pretty okay black braided cable. Not really fitted, and it doesn't smell bad, which is apparently something that happens with some keyboard cables. It also comes with cherry plate mount stabilizers, which I will not be using because they're okay, I'm sure, but I did not have tools to clip them. And at this point, if I'm going for something really premium, I'm going to use something different because you can see the bottom here are uneven, and it might lead to a less fluid typing experience. Instead, I'm going to be replacing them with the Duroc V2s, which are the same size as the cherry plate mount stabilizers, and they work just the same. So you don't, PCB mount? Wait, no, that is not plate mount. I don't know, whatever. The point is they're screw-in, and they go into the PCB, not the plate. Also, I pre-holy modded them, just to note, if you saw the little piece of Band-Aid in there. As for our switches, I got the C3 equals banana split switches. These are a linear switch with a 62 gram spring. They have a nylon polycarbonate blend housing with a palm stem. They do come with a little bit of factory lube, but I actually went ahead and lubed and filmed them myself, and I noticed a very large difference. So I would highly recommend lubing these switches if you get them for your own build, but I just love how they sound. So next up is the assembly of the stabilizers. Again, they're the Duroc V2s, and I put a little bit of Krytox 205 grade 0 on the inner side of the housing, and then I used some dielectric grease to give the center part with the holy modded area a little less give, and it really helped to reduce some of the tickiness. Also, I'm speeding this up even more because I actually kind of messed up the spacebar by putting little foam pads underneath it, and it really made it hard to screw in, and it kind of ruined the feel, and it was bad. So I had to take it all apart and then remove those little pads, and then it was a lot better. Then just screwing in the rest of the stabilizers, which, that's just what you do. Next, I wanted to assemble the case, the plate and PCB, at least mostly, so that I could test out the stabilizers. So I grabbed one of the keycaps from a leftover from my matcha set, and I went ahead and stuck it on there, and I tested it out just to make sure it looked, sounded, and felt good. Made sure it didn't rattle too much, and just overall was good. But then I tried to take the keycap out, and I was like really struggling. By the way, just use a keycap puller. Don't do what I did, because I blew up the freaking keycap. It literally exploded. A couple pieces of plastic fell everywhere, but that's okay. The stabilizers were fine, and that's what's more important, because I I have extras of these keycaps anyway, and thankfully they weren't from the set that I was going to use, so double good. Don't do that. Don't do what I did. So then we just put the switches in so that the polycarb plate stays mounted to the PCB. Oh my god, just keep in mind, if you ever do something like this, the pins get bent so much more often than any other hot swap I've ever used. Oh my lord, it happened like maybe once every like 5 to 10 switches, and sometimes I had one pin that bent so far badly that I couldn't even fix it with tweezers. So just keep that in mind and don't do what I did if you can. I don't know, it's hard. And next we have to put the gaskets on the actual case. I'm really, really bad at this, and they did not give a whole lot of space to work with, generously speaking. So just keep that in mind. And honestly, some of the imperfections don't really seem to matter at all, so whatever. So one thing that I didn't mention here, or didn't show here, is actually you should put this in the other way. So you should start with the top plate housing and make sure that the USB is lined up with the actual entrance thingy. Because I didn't do that at first, and I actually had some interference on the bottom row of switches where the spacebar would actually rub against the case. But once I seated it better into the USB outlet, it worked significantly better. So just keep that in mind if you ever do a build like this. As for the keycaps, I actually didn't have the keycaps when I first built this board. I had to like leave it on the counter for like 2 days, just as it looks right now on the screen. But the keycaps finally arrived, and I was going to show a little clip of me going to the door and getting them, but I realized that it had my address on it, so I decided against it. So anyway, these are the OSA mustard keycaps, and I totally ruined the reveal by accidentally messing with one of the switches, or the keycaps, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. You could see the double shot ABS though for just a split second there. But they look, yeah, just do it again. There we go. Oh, much better. Okay, cool. Well, these are the OSA mustard keycaps. They are a profile I had never heard of, but they're kind of high, not quite as high as like an SA, but they're taller than an OEM or a Cherry, and they're not flat. However, they are a little more flat. They're not quite as like curved as Cherry or SA or anything like that. But they look really nice in my opinion. Like I quite like the legending is extremely clean, and I really like the aesthetic. But I mean, that's obviously just a personal preference thing at this point. And then we put them on. I had to fiddle with a few of them to get the right height and configuration, but eventually I got it, and it looks great at the end. You'll see in the sound test it actually changed a little bit because I needed to change some of them out, and I didn't want to record my fumbling around the whole time. And here it is, the final keyboard, or my final, maybe not my final. I'm definitely going to keep building keyboards, but man, it sounds really good and it looks great. Here's a sound test. Well, there you have it. I mean, holy crap. I didn't think I'd ever own like a keyboard that sounded this good, honestly. Like, it's kind of weird to me. Like, I feel like I like have to return this to somebody because it doesn't feel like I should own something that feels as good as this. The banana splits are incredibly smooth, and like, I mean, it's very easy to tell, like when you put it alongside other switches, how premium they feel in comparison. But not only that, but like the gasket mount and everything, and the sound profile and the feel and the look and everything. I'm just extremely proud of this. I'm very happy with how it turned out. And it was on the expensive side, but honestly, I couldn't really scratch that itch with something less expensive, and I've certainly tried. I continued to look for keyboards, but finally I'm extremely satisfied with this one. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and a comment or something and tell me my stabilizers suck or something. I don't care. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.